Reframing Mindset podcast, where I clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity to practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day.
Okay, welcome back to the Master Podcast. My name is Francis, and this episode is scissors. Um, so I mentioned the episode of knife versus jam cutter. Using the jam cutter is really better than using the knife. And funny enough, uh, funny enough, that is important because you have to um, going up the levels of YouTube and stuff like that. What happened is that I just mentioned the can cutter as a way to call knife versus can cutter. I'm using the can cutter because that is more that we use things easier. Right now, I'm actually, when actually actively mention that we realize that audience actually cans now, or cans that can open without can cutter and stuff like that. So there are more cans now that can open without can cutter. So it's good to mention that because if for some reason you see me go up the level where you really see me do stuff like, for example, using can cutters and stuff like that. It may be because I have to go up the level and using more of the cans that can open by themselves without the can cutter. So the next thing again, alright, this is a bit about, I guess, what you are going to do more cooking and stuff like that. Talk about utensils. So you have to realize, I guess, after a while, in this, throughout the various episodes, what happens is that we actually understand the utensils better and why they are used. Because that's what happened in this series, I guess. Because I'm using the utensils, cooking and using utensils, randomly and stuff like that. And after a while, after removing certain stuff, you realize that okay, that's the best use case for that. And then you find different use case for that. What happens is that after you start to use the things correctly, then you find that okay, there's a better way to do this stuff. Why I mentioned that is because hey, you have hand washing and all these stuff, then boom, you hear, for example, you hear more of me doing washing machines and other stuff. Then boom, you have things like smart washing and people, more people stuff, the proper working, So what happens is that the way the change, what happens is that sometimes you have to coming out of therapy and stuff, you're coming out of fire that you're working on a certain hormone person and stuff like that. You stuff will be very, very anti the thing. Either anti the future and stuff like that. Of course. But what I feel that you have to understand the principle, the core principle of the thing. Then what happens is that when you upgrade the core principle of the thing, the salvation and stuff like that, it's not lost. You just find a better way to do the stuff and then you can enjoy. So this thing now is scissors. So you got to go into the kitchen and stuff like that. You see like one of the fancy kitchen and stuff like that, you see a knife set and stuff like that. And there's always a scissors. There's always a scissors. I was like, why is there a scissors? I don't know about it when we working on the phone. I see that's funny. There are people that wear this fancy shit for us. So far, apparently we are not fancy shit like this. One thing that people need to episode here, sometimes certain things that they can't tell you that they realize before you use coffee is because it's important to go through these steps because what happens is that once you actually get it and experience and what I mentioned before there was an episode because that what I mentioned is that sometimes you need to interact more than once with a product to get the full understanding of it. So um, this will do for this because you can go and see people to do this kind of stuff and contributing and everything. Oh yes, we do it through one and stuff. But at this level, the difference is that you're getting an understanding of why it's done. It's like, okay, this is why um, Africa is coming to this. So why, like, cause in university, my university, I usually see, you know, I don't know, people that are conscious, people that is more into the kitchen. I was not really that much into it, but they use like scissors. If you have to reach that level, like what happened at this level, you're also using maybe knife and stuff like that to maybe cut chicken and stuff like that. And the next level is that you have safety scissors. There are scissors that you can use to cut chicken and stuff like that. But we're not at that level yet. We're working on it. So what happened now is that the safety scissors now is the safety scissors is like chicken scissors or something like that. It's good compared to a knife in terms of cutting paper items. Like for example, you're making stuff like pack ramen or stuff like that. The pack ramen is easy to open like with your hands. Your hand will open that. But inside the packet you have the seasoning, which is which on a normal day you would use, for example, a knife. If you're out there, so like the casual cooker, the quick cooker. And the reason why I say this is because it's like going up to a level of a great kitchen holder. This is the level that you have to go to. So it's a great kitchen holder. So what happens now, you will casually you will see, okay, using knife. And reason why this everywhere is relevant because I was already applying this somewhere else, then I feel this going on with the people economic side stuff that I'm happy with that I'm doing it. And what having is that I don't make any before. When you have to apply this, it's going hard, bigger and bigger. You're making larger and larger items. That's the thing about this one. We're making larger and larger stuff like that. People always dream about getting a car, a car, when you know a car is really a large thing. Like, forget the price, and everything like that. When you actually purchase that stuff and you realize you own that thing, that's actually a legit large item. Just like, for example, a house and stuff like that. If you actually purchase a home and stuff like that, it's no small item. It's actually something really large. It's actually something really large. So you have to. So it's not you're not going to play around with not going to be only small things. You're not you're going to be progressively interacting with bigger things. So it's like that's why you keep that in mind. That's why you keep that in mind. These stuff are great aspirations, but when you actually get to these are actual real machinery are real stuff that you do not, oh yeah, that's right. So if one did not say, yeah, we do go there, and then after it, and then that's right, that's actually yeah, that's great. That's right. So, what happens at this time, I would move, I would, sit my down up and get back at night. Then, what was the time to cook and all this stuff, and I realized that I had no knife in the kitchen. And why and it's really important because I say when you come to the talk about one of these skills you have to answer like you have to transition into a different so sometimes guys not the fact that you can't kind of thing like that you actually transition from maybe just living. So what happens is that your natural tendency is actually your natural tendency is messed up. It's absolutely messed up. So you naturally say, okay, I'm gonna go for a night. And they look around in the kitchen and I think, like for example now, I'm in now, for example, the road to after I'm looking for a night, and what I don't do. And then what happened was that in this stream, because I said I was doing this stuff and I getting all this backlash of moving this stuff. One of the things that I actually made was the scissors. So it was not no kitchen, it wasn't a specialized kitchen scissors or anything like that. But the scissors came in handy to actually make me able to use the soup, make the soup. And it was really good. And I was kind of good and stuff like that. But it was really good. It was really good. But what what happened was that during that time, as I mentioned before, now this versus Frankfurt, the scissors, when you have kitchen scissors. So these, this is the basic use case for a scissors in your kitchen where you can use it to cut packets that you can use by you can't open your hands and things like that. That is good. That is the basic use case for the scissors to kind of have it that over time where you go during the argument. This is the basic use for it. So I guess I'm not big, a bit more for this episode. So that's just for this episode. Thank you for listening. And let's for the next.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter @ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.